So today we'll be focusing on more pulling variations, especially like rowing and some like more posterior chain type stuff. If you haven't done so already, I highly recommend getting a hold of just kind of that medium-sized super band. Or it's probably more on the light side actually, but doesn't have to be super thick. I mean, I guess the light kind of. There's a lot of different rowing variations. Morning, Birdie. A lot of different rowing variations and pulling variations that we can do. I mean, it's less than $10 on Amazon, and there's some other stuff we could do with it too. But I mean, it's just a nice tool. So this is an option that I'll give for some of the work that we do today. But for the most part, the exercises that we do, I'll give another option with dumbbells or something. And then if you can get a hold of a TRX, I'll actually be using this today because I find it to be pretty helpful and just kind of giving me different variations of the rowing exercises. If you can find these for like under, I don't know, probably under like $90, it's a pretty good deal. Shouldn't have to pay more than that though, unless you get the one with the real nice handles that are like rubberized, then those are going to be more expensive. But if you try and buy one of these brand new, I think they're like the cheapest on the TRX site. I think they're like 160. One second, I need to turn this heater off. Alright, so we're going to start on the floor. We're going to have a couch or a chair or a bench or whatever we have, and then nice. Welcome, Addison. Glad you could join us. We're going to start on our back, heels up on the couch or the ledge of a bench, and then you won't be able to see my upper body here with the smaller camera, but that's okay. We're going to put our elbows flat into the ground. If we can, we're going to try and touch our wrists back to the floor as well. Can you shift the camera for me? And then we're going to be reaching overhead, driving our elbows through the ground. Janelle's up.
This one?
No, that one. Then we're going to shoot for 5 to 8 of those. More that way, so they can see my arms. Sweet. That's about as good as we're going to be able to do. Again, trying to squeeze our shoulder blades together and drive our elbows through the ground. If we can try and get our wrists down to the floor too as we slide. We've been doing this against the wall, we've been doing this against the floor. Ideally, you're putting a little bit of tension through your heels so that your lower back stays nice and flat the whole time. Kind of finish up here as we're focused on this. Should be getting better over time. Again, focusing on keeping that rib cage down, big exhales. Finish up your last one. We're going to go right into an incline glute bridge. So from here, pulling our toes towards our face, we're going to bridge up off the floor. Again, what I really like about this position of the incline bridge is it really tends to focus more on those hamstrings, or when we're bridging from the ground, it tends to focus a little bit more on glute. Here we're going to go for 10. Good squeeze at the top. Little pause, squeeze. We're going to be doing a couple drills to get those hamstrings going today. For some of you, you might not even be able to bridge all the way up to the ceiling, and that's actually okay. I mostly want you focusing on rolling your tailbone towards your face and then bridging. That's what's going to get you to feel more of those hamstrings. And over time, as you get stronger, then you can come higher and higher. But we don't want to overextend with our back and cheat with this movement. We want to make sure that we're using, all good stuff. And so the next drill is going to be, I call it Iron Man. I don't know the actual name. I stole this from another trainer. It's just that hamstring drill where we're putting our feet in a wall, kind of like a Nordic hamstring curl, but it's more like a plank where we don't go down all the way. So I'll use this wall here, and then basically you're trying to get as much of your foot on the wall as possible. It's probably only going to be like the balls of your feet that you'll feel against the wall, but you're trying to stay nice and tall here. So if you're looking from the side, you would see that your knees, your shoulders, your head, everything is nice and stacked on top of each other. And then as you slightly come forward, you're pushing your hips forward, and that's what's keeping you from falling. Since it's hard for you to see, I'll use the couch as the thing to keep me from falling forward, but most of you probably have a wall. I don't know that everybody has a couch like this. So again, from here, I'm staying nice and stacked. As I come forward just slightly, I'm not leading with the head, I'm actually leading with my hips underneath. The only thing keeping me from falling is the back of my legs. And we're going to hold that, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to hold for like 3 to 5 seconds, really building that awareness of those hamstrings, keeping your butt tucked, trying to draw the back pockets towards the floor. This is the same tension that I want you to feel when you lock out a squat, a deadlift. When you come up to the top, boom, that it's more posterior chain and not so much the lower back, right? And we're going to do, like I said, 3 to 5 second holds. Let's do about 5 of those. Just getting good awareness of our hamstrings. Just coming back and forth. This is an awareness drill as much as it is like, I've had plenty of people cramp doing that, and you probably went a little too far if you're cramping there, so take it easy.
Morning, Addison. Miss Addison, right?
Have you
Glad
met,
you could join us.
have you met her?
Downstairs the CrossFit Games class.
Oh, awesome. Okay, back to the floor slide. So on your back. You can also do this on a wall if you don't have a couch for whatever reason in your vicinity. And then from here, you're going to keep your lower back flat, so you can put a little bit of tension in the heels, making sure that that back stays flat, pushing the elbows into the floor, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then reaching overhead. Good, big exhale, really try and keep those ribs down, these rib flares here as much as you can. Exhale, reach, keep driving those elbows down through the ground, so really opening up. How did everybody sleep last night? I think I actually slept really good.
I had a dream that we crashed.
Oh boy, did you know that's the craziest dreams?
I was in a bus running away from Tasha.
You're running away from Tasha?
I don't know why.
Was she in her Batman mask?
Maybe.
I don't know, if you guys aren't already following Tasha or Iron Wolf 09, that's definitely worth the time. With these slides, we're going for like 5 to 8, and then we're going to go right into those incline bridges for 10, right? So, heels, yep. You're going to stay in that same position of digging down the heels, rolling your tailbone towards your face. Don't care if you come up all the way, mostly focused on you trying to feel your hamstrings as you roll yourself up. What I mean by that is that your tailbone is rolling towards your face. We don't need to come up all the way, we just need to get as much tension in the back of those legs in this position as possible. How's it feel?
Good.
Yeah, 10 of those. If you don't have a couch, maybe a chair, and like push the chair against the wall so it's not sliding around on you. A little bench if you have it. It doesn't have to be this high of an incline either. You can just incline to like a little bench, and that's fine too. It's crazy how little, like just putting the incline off the ground, how little a bench or whatever you need for it to get more of the hamstring versus the glutes. So 10 total, and then we're going back to that Ironman drill.
Did you just name that?
No, I was actually, so I took this drill from a trainer where, and a lot of the things that we'll do with the wall, we're going to do another drill later with a split squat where we use the wall. I actually took this from a guy who, his name's Pat Davidson. He, just the way that he thinks about a lot of these exercises and getting people to feel the right stuff and using the environment. Anyway, I was doing this with a client, and I didn't have a name for it. I was like, hey, just like, put your feet on the wall and then, lean forward. But the way he had his hands and the way that he was like, he said he felt like he was flying like Iron Man. So that's why I named it Iron Man. We just got done with Iron Man 2, so it's just perfect timing. Again, trying to draw my back pockets towards the floor here as I push. You're probably using a wall, so pushing the balls of your feet into that wall, trying to keep nice and stacked. So the mistake people make here is that they kind of reach with their head and then they end up kind of with this weird, I don't know, crease in the hips. Like, hips need to stay stacked. This couch is like perfect for this.
Perfect for a lot of things.
You could probably do full Nordic curls. Do you think the couch would come up? Well, we're not doing those today.
No.
Again, 3 to 5 seconds, 5 total reps. And then, we're going to get into our things today. So, finish up. Maybe bring this up a little higher now because I won't be on the floor. Let's see, is that too high? That's too high. So first exercise is going to be a reverse fly or band pull apart. So like I said, prefer the band. If you don't have a band, you're going to use some light dumbbells and you can go to either that bent over row position or you can sit on the couch and be more chest supported. But from here, try and keep your back nice and flat, and then you're going to bring the hands up towards the ceiling, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Squeeze. Here we're shooting for 12 reps, and so I'll just do this from seated on the couch just because we don't have a ton of room. But I'm trying to get a good squeeze, coming together. Squeeze. If you need more tension, you just wrap it around your hand one time. Squeeze. I think Janelle needs to keep like a dream journal and sell it because she has some of the craziest dreams.
Should like write it down right away.
Finish out your reps. We're shooting for 12 of those, and then we're gonna go right into a sumo deadlift. With the sumo deadlift, you're gonna try and take one of your heavier weights, and depending on how high the weight is from the floor, can change the variation of like how we're gonna do this. I'll use a heavy dumbbell just to show you. And from here, we're actually going to take a pretty wide base. I'm going to block you now out for a second. Pretty wide base, turning our toes outward. This is more like a box squat. You're trying to stay pretty upright with your spine. So in a normal deadlift, we would kind of bend at the hips. Like from here, we're actually going to take this wide base and push our knees out as we stay pretty upright. So I'll show you from the side. Pushing my knees out so that my torso actually stays up more like a squat, right? And then from here, when I grab a hold of the weight, I'm trying to extend my hips and my knees at the same time as I come up. So I'm pushing the knees out. I gotta turn my feet out quite a bit for that to work. I need to really open those hips up. Should be feeling more of the outside lateral parts of the hips. I do like conventional deadlifts too, but we're just trying to give some different variety in these movements. And we're shooting for 12 of these as well. If you need a little more weight, technically you can take a couple dumbbells and come down. Just don't go down all the way, right? Just go down like you would where you feel good and controlled with your tension and back up. So I'll do that on the second round. But for now, let's just work on the movement. Again, with all these, whether it's a squat or a deadlift, my spine position is number one. Making sure that I can keep everything nice and stacked and there's not a lot of movement. Once I decide to lift the weight, got to keep my spine nice and straight the whole time. We focused on some breathing last Friday. If you're having a hard time with that, go back and watch that day. So that would have been what, day 15? Something like that. Day 15, you can go practice all your breathing, making sure that you're staying braced. Okay, next one. We're gonna do a TRX version. We're gonna do the band version, and then if you only have dumbbells, we'll do the dumbbell version. So I know there's some people that only have one dumbbell. You're gonna do a tripod row. That's your option. If you have the means with a band or with a TRX, we're gonna go with the inverted row on the TRX.
Or pull-up bar.
Yeah, if you have a pull-up bar, actually, that'd be pretty sweet too. Those are pretty cheap. You can get a good pull-up bar in a door jam for like, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks. With the band, we're gonna wrap it around our feet. And then from here, we're gonna row. 12 of these. If you're doing the tripod row, it's still 12. You're just gonna have to take a little extra time to finish up each side. Get a good squeeze at the top, maybe like 1 second pause. You can't see me that well, but we've done this variation plenty of times. You can see Janelle. The next exercise, well, I'm going to give you a little more time because I know there's some people finishing up with their one arm variations. For our next exercise, we're actually going to use the wall. And like I said, it's kind of, it comes from this trainer, Pat Davidson, who does a lot of these variations. If you're still finishing up, don't rush. You can always come back to this and catch us more on the next round. So we're going to go in our half kneeling position. Actually, we'll use this as a stretch for some people too, just because the wall gives us good feedback for being able to get our hips tucked. So try and get as much of your foot on the wall as you can. You're going to bring this foot so it stacks right underneath your knee. And then what you're going to think about is drawing that tailbone, again, just like you did in that first drill, drawing your tailbone or your back pockets towards the floor and then pushing into the wall. So from here, we're going to press ourselves straight up from that split squat. If you don't have the strength, I recommend having like a chair or something that can help you going up and down, a foam roller, a dowel, whatever you have, a broom, whatever to give you some stability. But from here, we're trying to push straight up. And now I want you to try and get your heel on the wall. So you're trying to press yourself straight up, straight down. We're trying to keep tension in both heels as much as we can. So if we have limited ankle mobility, at the bottom, it's hard to keep my heel pressed on the leg that's on the wall. But do your best. Do what you can. If you need to bring your toe forward away from the wall a little bit, sometimes that will help. So I really want you to feel the heel. We're going to shoot for 8 on each leg. Nice and slow on the way down. In control, boom. Pushing ourselves up. As long as we're in control, we can come up fast. Driving that heel. What I like about this drill is it kind of forces you into this good position of keeping your hips underneath you. Good tension in the heels, so nice and upright. Really developing our quads. And a lot of times when we do split squats, we don't really get tension in the back leg. It's more just us working on the front leg. I like that you get a little bit of both in this. So first we're drawing our tailbone underneath, might feel that stretch here in the front of the back leg. I'm driving with both heels to push me up, straight down. Try not to lean forward too much. You can lean forward a little bit. Keep that heel on the wall. As much as you can, kind of like suctioning yourself, right? Push, push. Ideally, in that drill, when you're able to drive your heel into the wall, it will help you feel your hamstring on that back leg more. Just like we did in that Ironman drill. Hamstrings are super important. The more that you can feel them when we do this kind of stuff, the better. Going back to our reverse, whether it's a reverse fly or a band pull apart, we're going to do that variation next. That comes next. And then when we get to the sumos, I'll do it with 2 bells to make it a little bit heavier. Well, actually quite a bit heavier. And then I'll just kind of tell you how far to go in that. So from here, squeezing the shoulder blades. A couple different variations you can do. You can still do this on the TRX too, if you have one of those. And then we're going right back to those sumos. Okay, so with the sumo deadlift, I mean, if you have one heavy bell or one heavy dumbbell, then that's probably good enough. But if you want to add a little more weight to this, you can do it with 2 hands. So again, we want to be safe when we go to pick this up, that I am straddling the weight. I've got that wide base and my feet turned out. I'm going to have to bend over a little bit because the weight is so far down on the ground. Like I said, ideally we're pretty upright in that sumo squat, but because of this weight is so low, as long as I keep my spine flat, I'm still safe, okay? So from here, I'm just going to come down to the point where I feel comfortable in my hips, and then I'm going to drive back up with 2 bells. Pushing those knees out, nice and tall, up there. We're shooting for 12. Nice and tall with our spine. Going back to the row. Use it on the next round. So you either got a tripod row for 12, you got the TRX, or you can do a banded version with your super band. Which is what I'm going to do here. I actually do prefer the seated version on the ground. So here, throwing it around our feet. Nice and tall. Squeeze. I feel like I'm rowing in a boat or in a canoe or something. You guys all getting outside? It's been nice out. Yesterday was super nice. Went for a little walk. Hopefully today's nice too. Looks like it might be okay. Okay, back to that split squat. 1 foot on the wall. Again, that foot on the wall is designed to help you keep your hips tucked, just like you did in that Ironman drill. So when we start here, I'm thinking about that back foot helping me draw my hips underneath, pulling my back pocket towards the floor, nice and stacked. Once I go to press myself straight up, I'm trying to feel heel and heel on both feet. So now both legs are working in this split squat variation. We're going to go 8 each side, coming down nice and slow and control, coming up with speed as long as you can control yourself. I can see somebody said something, I'll get there in a second. 8, and then switch. Oh, nice. I'll let her know when she gets back. Yeah, I was actually in my room and I could hear all this thumping and I was like, what the heck is going on? The whole house was getting rattled. But that's a fun sport. I wish they would have had more options for guys volleyball. Richard was saying Addison was doing your trick
Nice.
with the ball.
I was like thumping. It was awesome. Keep doing it every day.
Alright, that's more than 80. Okay, back to that fan pull bar. For 12. Squeezing those shoulder blades. Let's see, what are we at on time today? Yeah, maybe good time. I found out that when you upload a video to YouTube, if it has any music on it, that they can tell, and it's like basically copyright issues, and then you can't basically like can't promote that video. You can still use the video, you just can't like I don't know, try and make money off of it, I guess. Thought that was pretty interesting. Something I didn't know. So one thing that's nice about, we're gonna go back to that sumo deadlift. One thing that's nice about the barbell with the sumo deadlift is it kind of forces you into that position of being wide and getting that bar to come, like you really have to open the knees up in order to get into a good position to do it. And it is a really nice variation if you do a lot of deadlifting to kind of mix it up with that sumo style to get more of the lateral hips built. I mean, my traditional deadlift has gone up a lot because I've kind of focused more on this sumo style, and I can thank Dan for that because he was the one doing all my programming for that stuff, and yeah, my hips feel really good from doing that. Okay, last round. You're either working on the kettlebell, I'm going to do 2 dumbbell, and I'm going to try to mimic having a bar so that I can kind of keep that real open knee position. Again, I'm going to have to bend forward a little bit more on the initial pickup. When we go to do this, the thing that's going to keep us most safe, as long as our back is nice and flat, should be fine. But from here, once we are in position, I'm going to stay more upright. Pushing the knees out, getting to that position where it's comfortable on my hips, and back up. Pushing those knees out. When I first started doing those, it was really uncomfortable on my hips, so if it feels kind of tight or a little bit uncomfortable, it's very normal. It does take some practice to kind of get those hips to open up and get used to that position, but in the long run, it should feel better. And you know, the infrequency and the load that we're using shouldn't be an issue long term. Okay, back to the rowing variation. You either got a tripod row, you got your last TRX row, or the banded row. I need to find more reasons to use the TRX. I bought this thing and I haven't used it as much as I wanted to.
I use it a lot.
That's good. I mean, I'll use it with clients. Like when I was still like going to travel and seeing some clients, I would go use it. But I feel like everybody's pretty locked down now. 12, squeeze. As I said, at some point I want to use this thicker band to show you some ankle mobility stuff, but not a lot of people have this thick of a band, so I just haven't gotten around to that one yet. Okay, one more time with our split squat, rear foot on wall, Trying to reinforce this position of keeping our tailbone tucked, nice and tall and stacked position as we press ourselves straight up. Boom. Coming down nice and slow, in control. It should take about 3 seconds. Boom. Let's see, we got some. Oh, sweet. She used a green band for her sumo deadlifts today. Nice.
Crushing it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think, let's see. I think, yeah, especially like, you can do those deadlift variations, you can do this for assisted pull-ups. There's so many ways to use these. But honestly, the most value I get out of them is that ankle mobility kind of series Dan had me do, and it seems to help quite a bit. I need to stay up on that because it's a good way to kind of strengthen the ankles while still mobilizing. Alright. Catch your breath. We're going to get into our next variations of things. Kind of put our weights to the side. Don't think we're going to need too many weights here. This is going to be a 12-minute, basically conditioning for 12 minutes here. 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off. We've got 4 exercises, really 3. We're just going to be switching legs on one. First movement is going to be that single leg RDL, the knee drive that we've been practicing. Second movement, so we'll do one each side. Second move, jumping jacks. The last one will be mountain climbers. 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 3 rounds. Trying to keep our heart rate up here pretty much the whole time. Do you have a timer on your watch? I would use my phone to give us the countdown, but it is being used for videos. So first one, that single leg RDL, where we're coming back, tracking the foot near the ground as we drive up. Really get those arms moving. 45 seconds is a long time to be working, so let's keep it going.
3, 2, 1, and go.
Be explosive, control. It's not about getting as many as you can, it's about getting good quality reps here. That's why I put the time up a little bit higher than we did this the first time that we did this one. We've used this movement in a couple other exercises. But for right now, we really want you focusing on good technique. Go slow. Make sure we're getting into that good range here with our RDL. And that we're driving our knee and toe up towards the ceiling on that up leg.
15.
I promise it'll catch up to you, and there's not a ton of rest in this next 12 minutes, so you don't need to rush yourself.
3, 2, 1.
Again, in all of these positions, we're bending forward, keeping our spine nice and straight, getting into our hips, not our back.
3, 2,
On the leg,
1.
those arms moving in opposites. You can probably hear it, but my toe just slides along the floor just enough to help me stay nice and stable, create a little bit of tension so that my position stays good. If you're feeling real confident and want to add a little hop, go for it.
10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, stop.
Jumping jacks. You can do the overhead, or you can do seal jacks, wherever is more comfortable. If you have any shoulder things going on, go to more of the seal jack.
3, 2, 1.
Try and stay nice and quiet. Light feet, stay on the balls of those feet. I'm rocking the whole floor. Like rocking the whole foundation. If I go on this
Love
side.
you. 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's better. Maybe.
3, 2, 1.
Mountain climbers. And so I've got some towels here ready to go on my hardwood floor.
3, 2, 1.
If you don't have towels, you can just do mountain climbers like Janelle's doing. Maybe turn sideways so you can see. You can do them this way as well. I'm going to be doing these with the sled. Trying to get me.
Three, two, one.
I didn't explain this, but with the mountain climbers, just like we do with that single leg RDL drive, think about really getting your hips going and your legs going in opposite directions.
3, 2, 1.
Back to that leg drive. Good quality reps.
Three, two, one.
Really think about driving that foot that's stuck in the ground through the ground.
3,
I drive my knee to my face.
1.
Should be squeezing your butt on that down leg. Get that power out of your hips.
Three, two, one.
Should I do jumping jacks out on the deck?
Right in there. 3, 2, 1.
Go. Yell, let me know you gotta yell. Scream at him.
Three, two, one.
us mountain climbers. And we got one last round.
3,
Then we're gonna
2,
finish with some breathing before we leave
1.
today.
Go.
I'm gonna go this way. Again, trying to really disassociate the feet, going away from each other, just like you do on the marches. Come on. Stay strong.
Three, two, one.
Alright, last round. Last round, then we're going to do a little bit of breathing here before we finish. One, it's a way to calm you down. Two, it's a way to really help you reinforce those good breathing patterns
3,
through
2,
all of our exercises.
1. Go. Amanda's here.
What's up, Amanda? She doing her yoga thing this today?
I think so. She like posted it like last night.
Yoga meditation? Which one?
Both. Three, two, one.
Last few minutes. Feels pretty good today.
3, 2, 1.
I have to tell you guys, before starting these workouts, my workouts mostly consisted of a lot of powerlifting and like heavier lifts, and I did like zero cardio, so I was trying to gain weight, and if I do cardio I just lose weight super quick, but I was starting to see that my aerobic capacity was just terrible, and I had gained like 15 pounds. This has been super helpful in getting me back on track with more aerobic exercise, and I feel much better.
3, 2, 1. Relax.
I might not feel as strong in some of those lifts when we get back, but I definitely feel just better, got more energy.
And we got it as well back.
I don't feel so winded with like walking upstairs.
Okay,
It's quite an adjustment when you gain weight like that.
2, 1.
I don't know if you guys have gone through extreme weight gain, but it's different. I definitely felt strong, but you also got to move that weight around. So it's good to get some aerobic. So then I can beat Janelle at all the sports.
Never. Three, two, one. Relax.
Alright, last mountain climber.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Come on, this is it. Come on.
Three, 2, 1. Relax.
Catch your breath. We're gonna go back here. Once the heart rate comes down a little bit. Just gonna finish with a little bit of breathing. Gonna get you set up for the day. You can go back to that 90-90 position with your feet up on the couch, or you can just go feet flat on the ground. Doesn't matter. I like the couch. It just puts me in a better position. From here, no tension, just legs up, relax. Now you put your hands on your rib cage, especially here in the flares. Wait for your breath to return to normal. So one important detail with our breath is that unless we're exercising or doing something with high intensity, pretty much all of our breath should come through our nose. It's a really important thing to be able to do. So what we're going to practice is we're going to exhale through the mouth to get all the air out, but then we're going to inhale slowly through the nose and really try to fill up other places in our rib cage other than just this flare here in the front. So it's exhale, all the air comes out. I hold on to that tension, and then I inhale slowly through the nose. The slower that you inhale through the nose, the better. We're going to take 10 full breaths, full exhales, and then we'll be done. Keep that lower back flat to the ground. You're shooting for about 10 of those breaths. If you're not used to doing this, you might feel a little lightheaded. That's totally normal. Might feel a little weird. But overall, that feeling of being kind of lightheaded is just the difference between what your nervous system is feeling as far as like fight or flight versus rest and digest. And so over time, you should be able to get more used to this more relaxed feeling, which is what we want. We want to be able to relax. We're not exercising anymore. Should be nice and calm and get nasal breathing, that's important. So another way to kind of test, like if you're breathing through your mouth at night, if you wake up with a dry mouth, there's some techniques you can do, like taping your mouth. I know that can sound pretty scary, but I promise you that your body will figure it out, and it will figure out a way to get air. Your nasal passages will dilate, and you should feel much better. I've had a lot of friends practicing this type of breathing strategies, and it's very helpful. Very helpful. So if you want more information on that stuff, read the book. It's called The Oxygen Advantage. They talk about a whole protocol for endurance athletes, getting them, breathing more effectively, and how it influences their performance. But anyway, that's all we got for today. Hopefully y'all got a little bit of sweat and moving around after doing some pretty high volume yesterday. I mean, 30 push-ups in each round. Richard, that was, I don't know, are you sore? I'm probably sore after that. Tomorrow we're going to plan on kind of like what we did on day 8 with a lot of the rotational exercises. Yep, you're welcome. Trying to get into some different planes of motion, keeping the heart rate up like the whole time. And then Thursday we'll hit it hard with more tension, try and get you sore type stuff. I look forward to it. Look forward to tomorrow. I always feel really good after our Wednesday where we're doing all these different movements.
Keep those TikTok.
Yeah,
We're on a roll.
plenty bored, so TikTok has been a nice way to learn some weird new ways to shoot some videos. It's been
You
really
should make
fun.
one with Addison. Let's see it.
Yeah, you should do it. There's a ton. There's like a ton of different ideas if you just type in on the app. Either way, have a good day. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.